Viewers and subscribers, so welcome back again. This is BVI Channel 1, where we tell you undiluted and uncompromising truth. Nigerians, you do not need an expert to know that the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, entered a deal with Fulani terrorists before he became president. And in just few minutes, if you let me, I will reveal to you what had been hidden in plain sight. To start with, since Adeola had this conversation with this expert, as they said,
in order to become the president of Nigeria, nobody can argue there were deals that went on. Not that
you are
get a seat in
alleging
the
that
presidency.
President Tinubu had a deal with the terrorists?
Excuse me, whether we like it or not, it is no longer a secret anywhere in the world that...
So, but what's the evidence? Some people will say that...
Okay, let me give you talk. Let me just give you... Let me throw you one quickly. People don't realize that the Mandela bombing in Niger State, the Catholic church that was bombed in Niger State, the fellow who headed it actually was in Lagos, in Snake Island, 2 days, 3 days, and then traveled to northern Nigeria to take his team to execute. What does that tell you? Now, when he got into police custody, he was arrested and he miraculously escaped. When he escaped miraculously, where was he rearrested? Where did he take up refuge? He took up refuge in the lodge of a serving high-placed government official from Borno State, who happens to now be who? The vice president of Nigeria. So what am I talking about here?
Good. People had been trending that video, but very few tends to understand in practical terms what had been out there that they had not really decoded. Let's begin with this woman that said it ab initio.
I asked him what he had for us up north because we have extremely serious security problems. He told me that he didn't have anything. I said, sir, you mean that you want to be president and you don't even have a blueprint? He said he doesn't have a blueprint. He doesn't have a blueprint according to him because if I have a blueprint, I'm quoting him now, then I might be killed and because I'll be stepping on too many toes. I said, sir, in that position that you are looking for, you don't think of death. You don't think of assassination. Anyway, that is gone. But I've been vindicated yesterday.
Good. What does that tell you? Talking about the president stepping on toes. That means before he even became the president, he had already entered a deal. Now, let's push further. What Shetima said.
I will lead the troops. My principal is an economic wizard who transformed Lagos into the third largest economy in Africa. He will concentrate on the economy. By God's grace, I will handle the security arm. Not only handle the security arm, I will lead the troops to battle across the length and breadth of this country.
And that is one of the media outings and speech of the current vice president before the election of 2023. Is that beginning to make sense to you? No, I don't think so. Now, with what is happening recently in Nigeria, especially the kidnapping of the girls from Kebbi State, the governor of Kebbi State made this statement.
Situation, because as government, when we had an intel, we decided to call a security meeting. And we did so. We seek the security advice. And they said that all is well. What they should do is they are going to mobilize to the school. And they did so. By 3 o'clock, the military withdrew. And by 3:45, the abduction took place. That is why we are worried. And we have been asking questions. Who authorized the withdrawal of the military? Who authorized the withdrawal of the military? Who authorized the withdrawal of the military?
I believe you'll be waiting for an answer. But relax. Here is the answer. Let's talk about the former governor of Zamfara State, who is now the current Minister of Defense. And this will be coming not from an expert, but a young girl from the north.
Now, before we go into who currently owns the office, let's talk about what the Ministry of Defense is and what it requires. Ministry of Defense is the body responsible for national security. It is supposed to supervise the Nigerian armed forces, protecting our borders, overseeing defense policies, military intelligence, coordination of armed operations, procurement of weapons, and advising the president on all matters relating to national security, to the national security of the hundreds of millions of Nigerians across every nook and cranny of this country. Ideally, the Minister of Defense should be someone with very strong experience in military service. Someone with strong experience in military service, in national defense, national security, defense strategy, counterinsurgency operations, intelligence work, or at least expertise in defense administration. Someone who understands troop deployment, someone who understands conflict zones, military logistics, threat assessment, weapon procurement, and the very architecture of national security. Now, let's look at who we actually have as the Minister of Defense. Nigeria's current Minister of Defense is Bello Matawalle. Yes, the former governor of Zamfara State, the person who was the governor between 2019 to 2023. Yes, the same Zamfara that is one of the most terror-plagued states in the northern region. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is his qualifications for being the Minister of Defense, right? His background is that he started off as a teacher in a government girls' college in Morike and one other place in Zamfara State. Then he became a civil servant where he joined the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. And then he gave politics a shot where he ran and won a seat in the National Assembly, and he left the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. That is in 1998, and he has been in politics ever since. He held multiple political positions, including being a House of Reps member at some point before he became the governor of Zamfara State. And somehow, despite not having a single strand of military or defense-related experiences or expertise, not anywhere in his education or career, he is now in charge of national security for the entire country. This is a man who has never served in the armed forces, never officially trained in defense strategy, never managed a military operation, never worked in intelligence, and never handled any form of defense logistics. And yet somehow he is responsible for coordinating security operations against Boko Haram, against bandits, against multiple other terrorist groups and militant groups we have across the country. And here is what is more concerning to me personally. As the governor of Zamfara State, he could not control the insecurity in his state. Under his leadership, Zamfara remained one of the most terrorized states in Nigeria. But somehow, after failing to secure one state, he was put in charge of securing 36 states, including the FCT. And then we have the allegations. During his time as governor, he has been accused by the current governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, of basically frolicking with bandits. He has been accused of colluding with bandits, keeping bandits in the government house in Zamfara, paying ransom directly to terrorists, and procuring even vehicles for popular notorious bandit kingpins. When we say bandit kingpins, I mean people like Bello Turji.
Good. You see where the truth is now coming out from. Out of the mouth of suckers, babies, the truth is now being revealed. How many of you would ever think that the Minister of Defense, as we speak today, have no connection with military, security, or intelligence? Just a mere politician that came through the ranks and file of civil service that had nothing to do with security is the on a normal basis. Minister of Defense used to be or should be experts in defense, people who have gone through the experience, retired generals or people who have gone through the professional training in the acts of defense of a country. But no, it's given to a man, the former governor of Zamfara State. Let us cross-examine him and his past. Do you forget, how many of you still remember that the current governor of Zamfara State indicted him of romancing with the terrorist?
They doesn't like me because I go after them. All of them.
Are they politicians?
Yes. I go after them. And let me remember you. When I was a governor, I'm the only governor that swear to Holy Quran that I have no hand or connections with banditry, or I am not happy with what is happening. Do you understand? I swear with a Holy Quran that if I am happy with what is happening, or if I am part of it, or if I know those that are doing it, or if I'm collaborating with them, I say God should not give me a 1 second grace. I'm the only one. And I challenge all the politicians that time, including General Luguso, that they should swear to Holy Quran. None of them, including Dauda, none of them can do this oath, can take this oath. None.
We have not forgotten that. And let me point it clear to you, which many have already had us on this platform say, that most of these terrorist attacks and banditry in the north today is being orchestrated by the illegal mining of solid minerals. Is that a coincidence? It is not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence. I don't want to get into Chinese involvement and the rest of them, but I want you to start dotting the I's and crossing the T's. All of these people, the Vice President of Tinubu, the Minister of Defense, does it make sense to you now? Now, do you feel that truly Tinubu's hands are tied? And the question being asked by the governor of Kebbi State, who gave that order?
Who authorized the withdrawal of the military? Who authorized the withdrawal of the military?
Because if you are looking at Nigerian insecurity, you should start dealing with it from the inside. Who gave the order for security, military personnel stationed around that school to be withdrawn minutes before the attack? It is not a coincidence. It is not. Nobody is bold to say this truth, but we can only bring it to you so that you can put these things together. It is like a puzzle. Then it will begin to make sense to you. Probably you can say, oh, Tinubu's hands are tied. By who? Well, maybe by 2027 they will come up with Muslim ticket. Bulaba. balablu and the Eminocon shenanigan. I don't want to politicize this insecurity, but I tell you, Nigerians, that you will continue being victims of Nigeria. Because what is happening to you, what is killing Otoro, is in the annals of Otoro. And that is where I'll be keeping it for now. Deal with the message and leave the messenger out of it. I'm only an advocate for good governance, and I'll keep in touch with you to educate, to sensitize, and to inform you better, because the primary responsibility of every government is to protect lives of the people. It's up to you to be the judge. I'm Asuchino Peters, your advocate for good governance. Help me share this video to everyone. I'm signing out. Bye-bye for now. GGN, uniting the people for good governance.